Hi, I'm Renee and welcome back to Peony and Me. Today I've got a bit of a sexy subject for you, and it's C-section versus VBAC. And if you're not sure what a VBAC is, it's a vaginal birth after a C-section. See, I told you it was a sexy subject, especially straight after my video on pelvic girdle pain. You're just going to know everything you need to know about down below. But yeah, so today, the reason I'm talking about this is because I had a C-section with my first boy, Henry. If you're new to this channel, basically I've got a 2-year-old and I've got another baby on the way who's due in August. And this subject has come up mostly with my midwife and with my hospital, because with Henry, unfortunately, it resulted in a C-section. So when you're planning your second baby, there's a big decision, if you're very lucky and you have that decision, of whether you're going to go down a elective Caesarean or whether you are going to go down the route again and try for a natural birth or a VBAC. So it's been heavily on my mind, especially lately, because I've had a lot of meetings with some incredible people at the Liverpool Women's Hospital, where I'll be giving birth again or having a delivery again. And it's probably one of the biggest reasons why I was terrified to get pregnant again, because the first time with the birth of Henry, it was tough. It was really, really tough. Tough at the time, tough afterwards, and it's still quite raw. But what I'll do is I'll insert down below my birth story, because it goes into a lot more detail. But in terms of this video, I'll just give you a little bit of background and I'll make a lot more sense. So yeah, Henry, the little monkey, he was 10 days overdue. So we went to the Liverpool Women's again, and they did a scan and checked me over, and it looked like that my amniotic fluid was looking a bit low. Also, they were concerned because I had pelvic girdle pain, quite extreme by then. I couldn't get actually onto the bed to be scanned. My husband had to help me up and I was in agony, and they were concerned that I'd gone way too far in my pregnancy, or my 10 days over, and they needed to take action. So the next day we were all booked in early, and it all went fine. I don't know if you know much about inductions. I'm not going to go into detail here, but I'll give you a little bit of information. You have a pessary, it's called, which is like a medical form of a tablet that's inserted in your vagina, word of the day, and it brings on labour, I guess. I don't know all the medical information, so I'm not going to go into that level of detail. But basically it worked a treat. I started contracting. Sorry, I should mention before this, literally I was closed shut. There was no chance there was any signs that I was going to go into labour naturally. I'd had some sweeps, and again those didn't work, but the pessary did its job, and by the early evening I was 4 centimetres, which was incredible. I did that on my own without any gas and air. I had an amazing time in the bath, which I've got naturally curly hair, so yeah, let's just say I didn't have good hair for the rest, and I don't know why I'm bringing that up, which just coming to my mind then. So yeah, I was moved from the induction ward into a delivery suite, and I went through the night. And at some point I had some diamorphine, which was horrendous because it just made me vomit really bad. I'd pass out in between of being sick. But other than that, and probably the most extreme pelvic pain I could ever imagine, other than that, everything was fantastic. Henry's heart rate stayed really good. He was never in any distress. I continued to contract really well. I had a drip inserted, which again helps with the whole induction process. And yeah, I moved along and I kept dilating, which was all great, and using that gas and air when I needed it. Then it got to the following day, turnover in staff and things like that, and again all fine. Henry was fine. I unfortunately couldn't get into any positions on the bed because of my pelvic girdle pain. So if you've done any antenatal classes or you've had a baby before, you know that there are, if you can stand up, if you can crouch down, if you can get on all fours, these are so many better positions than being literally lying down, because your baby's then sort of, your pelvis is curved under, and again, I'm no doctor, but basically it's not a great way for your baby to move and get into a good position. And I was literally, but then again, it works. So many people, they do give birth on their back. But for me, I felt like I needed to move around to get the baby in a better position. Anyway, I got to the following evening, so I think about 38 hours or something like that in. I was finally ready to push, and oh my God, I pushed with all my might. I was absolutely determined to get this baby out, and it didn't matter what I did, he would just not come. I had a doctor come in and examine me, and it seemed that Henry was slightly turned. Like this is how he was. He was slightly turned, and he was stuck. Heart rate was still fine at this point, and they decided that I would go in and see if they could try and get him out with forceps, and if that didn't work, a Caesarean would be needed. By this point, it was all very scary. It was all very unknown. I was exhausted. I'd been vomiting for what felt like 2 days. My pelvis was in agony. It didn't matter what I took in terms of the diamorphine, that never ever eased. So went into theatre, and it all went swimmingly, as swimmingly as these things go. And yet Henry was born that evening. So yeah, nearly a good 38, 40 hours later, he came along. And I healed great. Physically, emotionally, it took a lot longer. But generally, the whole C-section experience, short, much shorter than the induction for sure. But Henry was fine, and I was fine. So then it came to this birth. And I recently went to the hospital to see a senior midwife to talk through my options for the second birth, and also to talk about how I was feeling, my fears. And my biggest fear from having a C-section, not so much a fear, but a big letdown, was I never felt like I gave birth. Because when you have an emergency C-section, it's very much about getting the baby out in the safest possible way, and the baby's very much lifted out, and you have a quick glance, and then the baby's taken away, checked over, and there's all that doing, and then it seems like forever before you even get the baby in your arms, and you're lying down, and you're sort of like restricted, and the baby's like squished to your face like this, and so much going on in the theatre, and there's so many people in the theatre as well. It doesn't feel personal in any way. It feels quite clinical. Henry, bless him, because he'd been through a right ordeal of trying to get him out, because the forceps didn't work. His face was bruised, he was cut, he was just, oh, bless him, he looked like he'd been through the wars. And so yeah, it never felt like I gave birth. It never felt like a beautiful experience. And I'm not going to lie, it took a very long time for me to even feel like I had given birth, or not so much given birth, but had a son. So very, very conscious of this, and I spoke to the senior midwife, who, her name was Gillian, and she was incredible, an absolute godsend. She got me straight away. She was compassionate, she was knowledgeable, but she gave me information in such a warm way that it didn't feel clinical in any way, which was amazing. So a huge thank you to her. And she went through my previous birth. She had all Henry's notes, and she said that normally after a C-section, when it comes to your second child, there's normally a 25% chance that your labour, if you went for the VBAC option, would end up in a Caesarean, which I thought to myself, okay, those odds aren't that too bad. But then she went through my notes, and she said that even though they managed to turn Henry and he was in a perfect position to come out, and I pushed with all my might, he was not coming out. So that means my odds were more like 50%. So I explained to her how I didn't mind the option of having a C-section again, but I just never felt like I gave birth. So she was amazing. She completely got me and completely understood this, and she talked about something called a gentle C-section. which basically is after the cutting and when the baby's ready to be lifted out, they will lower the screen. If you've never seen a C-section before on TV or had one yourself, basically they put a screen up in between of you and the baby, which is for sterile reasons, not because they think you're going to pass out, which I guess you could. But what they'll do, they're going to lower that screen for me so I can see the new baby come out, and they will place the baby on my tummy and let the placenta pulsate for like a minute, so it gets all that blood pumping through to the baby, and then they'll cut and then they'll bring the baby to me, which is amazing. It's like so different to what I experienced last time, and just seeing a baby come out will feel like giving birth more than a baby being delivered to you, which it can feel that way. And yeah, that was my decision in the end. And yeah, I will probably wonder all my life whether if I had gone the old VBAC option, which is amazingly worked for so many women out there. I just can't go through that 2 days of labour again to potentially end up back where I was. And it took a lot of hard work from friends, family, professionals to put me back together. I don't want to lose that amazing time with the new baby and with Henry recovering from something that I had the option to take out at the front. So that's it. So I'm going for the old C-section, and it's all booked in. We have a date, which again is amazing because having a date, you sort of know that's your baby's birthday. I know I'm having a boy, so all those little things can help me bond with the baby now, and get an idea of what it's going to be like, and I know that I'm not going to be as exhausted this time because I'm not going to have that big labour. So I know that once the baby comes, I'm going to be in a much better position to look after him and be, you know, just embrace that experience of just grabbing a little munchkin and squeezing his little face and kissing him, rather than feeling slapped to the bed like I'm going to die and think, why me? So yes, it's all positive. It's been a big journey to get where I am now, and I'm not going to lie, I still get really anxious, and I still have some fears that potentially, because my first birth didn't go so well, this one's going to go horrendously. But I think I'm working through that. But each day I'm getting more and more positive as the time clicks on that this is the right decision. So yeah, that's it. So I hope that was sexy for you, the whole Caesarean versus a VBAC. I'll pop down below some incredible videos or blog posts that I've been reading lately about the whole VBAC versus a Caesarean, because there's some great stories out there, and if you're in the same position as me, I just wanted to read as much as possible and soak in as much, so my decision in the end was something that I really believed in. So I think those will help you as well, especially if you're not in a group of people where that experience, they can tell their own stories. And yeah, so that's it from me today. Thank you so much for watching if you've got this far. If you're new to my channel and you like what you see and you want to see some more videos on parenting, pregnancy, hauls, toddler style and pregnancy style, please hit that subscribe button. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it the old thumbs up, and please do feel free to put any comments down below. I absolutely love your comments, they're amazing. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye.